It is pretty normal to witness intense rivalries in sports, but what's not as normal is to see players attack their own teammates. But you know what? A little bit of drama is good for all of us. Today we'll take a look at some stories of teammates who just didn't like each other. I mean, some of them probably hated each other. And without further ado, let's get it started. In the aftermath of LeBron's decision back in 2010, the Cavaliers turned a new leaf by drafting Kyrie Irving in the 2011 NBA draft, who razzled and dazzled and ended up winning the Rookie of the Year award. Despite this impressive achievement, however, his individual impact was hardly felt at all, as the Cavs plummeted to the bottom of the standings with a 21-45 record. So, in the following year's draft, the Cavaliers front office, for some strange reason, decided to draft another ball-dominant guard, Dion Waiters. And, as expected, it didn't really work out. After two disastrous seasons, both players started to point fingers at one another. Chris Broussard closely covered the beef between the two, and here's his deep take about it. Waiters and Irving are not close. Waiters believes the Cavaliers have a double standard when it comes to Irving. Waiters feels that while Irving is allowed to get away with loafing defensively, making turnovers, and taking bad shots, whereas Waiters is taken out of games for such things. Irving called a meeting and every player spoke. When Waiters was given the floor, he criticized Thompson and Irving, accusing them both of playing buddy ball and often refusing to pass to him. Thompson took umbrage with Waiters' words and went back at him verbally. The two confronted each other, but teammates intervened before it could escalate into a fight. The rift between the two blew up even more when LeBron came back in 2014, as Waiters got pushed to the bench and then eventually got traded out. Now, this next beef we got right here didn't last as long as the previous one, but it's definitely way more physical. Nikola Miritage and Bobby Portis were once upon a time teammates for the Chicago Bulls. During one practice session, however, things got physical between the two power forwards when they got matched up with one another on the low block.
Violence on the court. One Bulls player punched in the face and sent to the hospital, the other suspended.
Several news outlets said that both Portis and Miritage were in each other's faces, and then from there, some intense trash talking started, which led to shoving, which then immediately escalated to a physical encounter. According to Woj's report, Miritage charged at Portis twice before Portis threw a punch and connected with Miritage's face. Miritage dropped to the floor and laid there for several minutes before getting up. In the aftermath of the scuffle, Miritage's face was badly fractured and he suffered a severe concussion. The Bulls quickly laid down the law after this incident and handed an 8-game suspension to Portis for his actions. Portis, meanwhile, came out humbled and said sorry to Miritage. "I'm wrong for what I did. I want to publicly apologize to Nico. I felt like I let my fans, the Bulls organization, and most importantly, my teammates down. This is not who Bobby Portis is." Though Portis already apologized, Miritage said that he and Portis can't coexist anymore and threw an ultimatum that either he or Bobby has to go. After delivering his public apology and even calling him on the phone to apologize personally, Miritage remained steadfast in his stand and still insisted that either one of them has to get traded. But this attitude of Miritage didn't sit well with his teammates, and most players in the locker room began to shift to Portis' side. According to one report, to a man, Portis punching a teammate was wrong. There's not one Bulls player disputing that, but as the Sun's Times initially reported, there continues to be a lingering sense that Miritage came into training camp with a feeling of entitlement, and that was not sitting well with many of his younger teammates. Eventually, Miritage was traded away. Anyway, on to the next one. John Wall and Marcin Gortat initially had a healthy relationship during their time together with the Wizards. However, it only took one single tweet to tear it all apart. See, back in the middle of their 2018 campaign, Wall had to sit out mid-season because of a knee injury. Though the Wizards were faced with a tough schedule ahead, they managed to have a 5-game winning streak with Wall out of the lineup. Now, during this 5-game winning streak, the Wizards moved the ball well and had a well-balanced attack. Then Gortat tweeted something like, "At first glance, there's seemingly nothing wrong with this tweet, but as you look closely, you can see that Gortat put a huge emphasis on the word team." Now, Wall felt that Gortat was subtly firing shots at him with this tweet because, as we all know, John is a really ball-dominant guard. Well, anyway, Wall took offense to this, but he just kind of shrugged it off by replying with LOL. But right after that cute reply, Wall finally broke his silence by dissing Gortat publicly in a live TV interview by saying,
"And it was more just shocking to hear from him and understanding that he gets the most assists from me and the most spoon-fed baskets ever."
Gortat wasn't going to let Wall do him like that, and after a few days, he replied by saying, Well, my comment is that it's clear that the whole drama that was stirred up from a few days ago, a week ago, whatever, it was definitely not even me or Brad or anybody on the team was trying to hit him with anything that's going to make him pissed or that's going to make him frustrated, and there wasn't definitely any hit at him, basically. We talk about team win with 30 assists a game. Everybody played for each other. We enjoyed the game. And basically, I see that, he felt differently. He felt it was a different way, and he came back with that kind of comment. So now we've got to ask each other questions. Who's attacking who? After 5 seasons, the Wizards decided to part ways with Gortat before the start of the 2019 season, and in a later interview, Gortat expressed his sentiments about his frayed relationship with John Wall. Playing with John was extremely great. I wish I could sacrifice more time to be a better leader back then, during the 4th and 5th year in the locker room. Now I can just say, I wish. But again, 5 years was extremely great and amazing to me. Some internal strifes can be resolved quickly while others took longer to mend. But our next beef here lasted for years, and it's actually still active up to this day. You see, in 2008, Boston formed the first legit super team of the modern era. Though Pierce, Allen, and KG were the ones who mainly did the heavy lifting, many argued that the Big Three's championship success would not have been possible without the help of Rajon Rondo. As a youngster in the league, the Big Three took Rondo under their wings, and in return, Rondo learned from them. However, as Rondo grew, he gradually felt that he should be treated with the same level of respect as the big names around him. As seasons went by, Rondo imposed his will on the court and began doing things his own way. This led to heated arguments with his head coach Doc Rivers and also the Celtics president at the time, Danny Ainge. Naturally, as a result of this, Ainge felt that trading Rondo would be best for the organization, so he started looking for potential trading partners, and Phoenix was the first one to answer the call. Both teams went back and forth and finally settled on a trade package that involved Ray Allen as well. Allen confirmed this in an interview that he gave when he was in Miami, and according to a Miami Herald reporter, he said the friction with Rondo began in 2009 when Rivers and Celtics president Danny Ainge proposed a trade that would have sent Allen and Rondo to Phoenix. Allen said that at the time, Ainge and Rivers didn't get along with Rondo. Ray was shocked about the rumor, so he quickly gave Rondo a call to discuss the matter. So I called him and I told him, hey, they're supposedly trading us to Phoenix because you and Danny and Doc don't get along. So whatever you can do. So for some reason, I guess he thought that I had something against him, or there were some issues. Some say the beef between Rondo and Allen started right there. However, Kendrick Perkins believes that the root of the issue between the two began when Allen was all in and didn't even bother to second think a trade proposition involving Rondo. There were rumors starting to circulate, and it was brought to the table that, what if we traded Rondo and get CP3? KG and Paul were like, nah, we ain't doing that. As great as CP3 is, we just won a championship. We rockin' with Rondo. He's given us everything that we need. But Ray Allen was like, nah, let's do it. According to Perk, Rondo was furious when he heard Allen say that, and here's what happened afterward. Rondo ended up finding out about it, and that was it from there. To the point where he brought boxing gloves to the gym, and they got on boxing gloves, Ray and Rondo. Like, they put on the gloves. We made them box it out for like 2 rounds. Things between Allen and Rondo escalated further when Allen revealed in his book that during a heated team meeting in the 2011 season, a frustrated Rondo went out of his way and said, I carried you to a championship in 2008. To which his teammates unanimously replied, you what? Now, at this point, Rondo was not only alienated from Allen, but from the rest of the team as well. In another interview, a reporter took Allen's perspective on the matter, and here's what he said. Allen describes Rondo as a player who expected that he would be treated as a leader without having done the work to deserve the role, and describes the Celtics as an organization that could not figure out how to handle Rondo. Coach Doc Rivers asked Garnett and Allen to let Rondo into the circle, but Allen told Rivers, we can't make him a leader, Doc. He has to earn it. Meanwhile, Rondo didn't air his side about his beef with Ray Allen, but when his book came out, he quickly attacked Allen and said, he just wants attention. He's been retired for whatever years, and now he comes out with a book. People do that in that situation, they need money. He should have hit me up and asked me for a loan or something. It's no hard feelings. Anyway, on to the next one. Just like the Celtics, the Clippers were once a team built to win multiple championships, but on a sad note, they weren't able to live up to their full potential because their 2 main stars, Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, simply could not work on the same page. On the court, they were playing really well as a unit, but behind the scenes, a rift was slowly brewing between CP3 and Blake on who should be the true leader of the team. Drafted as the #1 overall pick, Blake believed that he should have been the top guy on the team since day one. However, the locker room favored CP3 more because of his experience and command that Blake has yet to earn. The relationship slowly deteriorated, and eventually it spilled over to the rest of the team, especially during playoff time. In 2015, the Clippers squandered a commanding 3-1 lead against the Rockets, and then over the next 2 years, they got booted out in the first round, which finally spelled the end of the Lob City era. According to JJ Redick, the reason why the Clippers didn't live up to their full potential was because of the off-court issues. Doc used to always talk about how when one group was kind of together for a long period of time, instead of getting closer together, you end up pointing fingers at each other. It was weird because separately, everybody was cool with each other. Off the court, everybody sort of got along, and then there was just so much pettiness. It was so much pettiness. It's weird to think what we had the potential to accomplish, and what ultimately derailed that was pettiness. After the Clippers found the CP3 Blake beef irreconcilable, they traded Paul to the Rockets. However, the beef between the two reignited when CP3 returned to LA for the very first time. And during the course of the highly anticipated match, here's what happened.
And swing. Oh, now we got some Paul and Griffin words. Looked like there was an elbow there.
After Paul's departure, the Clippers finally decided to end the Lob City era by letting DeAndre go to the Mavs while they traded Blake to the Pistons. In the end, regardless of what happened between him and Blake, CP3 admitted that he missed having Blake around, saying, "It's seriously one of those things that you don't realize what you have until it's gone. I think about it at times. And me and Blake absolutely had our issues here and there and whatnot, but I actually appreciated Blake probably a lot more after I left. And then, especially once he started shooting threes, I was like, God dang. Cash." Anyway, guys, I'm going to pivot here really quickly onto a different topic. Did you all know that some players in the league actually trash talk the GOAT, Michael Jordan? These players are crazy, and MJ definitely made them pay for it. If you want to see what happened to them, then click right here. Let me tell you guys, don't ever trash talk GOATs. Anyway, click the video, guys, and like always, I'll be on the other side.